Hello and welcome to HCG Corporate Designs. This video is all about nowadays challenges for publishers and how they're able to succeed in the long run. What challenges are publishers facing nowadays? Most of all, unfortunately, a decreasing interest in magazines in general, and resulting from that a decreasing number of readers, falling advertising prices, rising postage costs, rising competition by digital and multimedia formats such as tablet PCs and websites on the internet, and of course the advertising clients' rising interest in those digital and multimedia formats. So depending on the kind of magazine you have, may it be a special interest magazine, a newspaper, a daily newspaper, or a consumer publication, the challenges you face might be slightly different. But the tips I will tell you within the next minute really worked for a magazine, for a special interest magazine, with many competitors in the middle of an economic crisis. And all the actions taken resulted in a profit rise of more than 5% within only 1 year. Why are more and more people losing interest in reading magazines? Well, it's quite obvious. The keyword is information flood. We all have way too many things to read through, to inform ourselves about, and so on. So of course you only pick something that looks nice and that is easy and fun to read. So how do you make your readers like your magazine more again? The first thing you should do is steering the reading flow for your readers, because you don't want your readers to be cluttered up by text and pictures. And this job can be done by an editorial design. A design relaunch is always a very tricky thing, especially when the magazine is quite renowned, because the human mind works like, oh, I don't want to have any changes, I don't want to have anything new. This is how people's minds work, unfortunately. But in the long run, a new editorial design is always a very good thing and contributes to a magazine's success. Let me give you an example. The Austrian daily newspaper Kurier got a new design a few months ago, and a friend of mine said to me, oh, they have a new design now, I don't find anything anymore horrible. And after only 1 month, this friend came back to me and said, the Kurier has a fantastic design, I don't want to read anything else anymore, because the Kurier is the easiest daily newspaper to read in Austria. So this is a very, very typical phenomenon about design relaunches of magazines. In the beginning, people always say, oh, something new, I don't know, I'm not so sure about that, but never be afraid of launching a new editorial design for your magazine, because it really pays off in the middle and long run. Make reading your magazines easier for your readers by, for example, including infographics. Infographics transport complex information and complex numerical data in a picture or in a graphic format, and people always enjoy reading infographics. It also looks very nice when you have a lot of text and all of a sudden a nice infographic that people can enjoy. Something very useful and very important to do is to improve your content. Especially when thinking of special interest magazines, the content is not always really very attractive, to be very honest. It always depends on how you tell a story, how you transport a story. You can tell a story in a boring way, or you can add some spice and some oomph to a story. Because, let's face it, behind every business client there's also a private person that wants to have fun reading something. Never strive to be like your competitors. Always strive to be at least one step ahead of your competitors. You can do that by letting your readers feel the stories, and by covering stories that your competitors don't even think of covering, because they might think, oh, it doesn't have anything to do with the daily life of the readership. Let me give you one example. I do the desktop publishing for Austria's leading transport magazine, which is all about trucks and buses. They did a report about the tsunami catastrophe in Japan, Fukushima. And normally you would think, well, what does Fukushima have to do with the Austrian truck industry? Nothing, basically. But there are always links and parallels and effects that such a catastrophe in Japan has on the local transport industry. You only have to be you only have to investigate enough to find those links and parallels and report about them in your magazine. This story about the tsunami in Japan was very successful. It had a very huge positive feedback from the readership on the one side and from the advertising clients on the other side. So always be brave enough to cover stories that don't necessarily at first glance have something to do with your readership, but always find the links between things that are big topics that are on the news and the daily life of your readership. Nowadays, companies have way more options to advertise than they used to have years ago. And as print advertisements have always been quite expensive, you now as a publisher have to offer more value. So offer more advertising possibilities to your advertising clients. Of course, you still have the print advertisements and the paid PR, but you can also sell banners on your website, you can sell product placement in your YouTube videos if you have YouTube videos, you can sell email advertisements in your newsletters when they go out to your readership, or you can sell advertising space in your app magazine in case you have an app magazine, and so on. So really analyze every possibility where you can sell advertisement space to your advertising clients, and make some nice packages or also price packages and communicate that via your price list. Depending on what kind of target group you have, it can make sense to work with social media. Of course, Facebook, Twitter and so on do only make sense if you regularly post something interesting there, and these posts have to attract customers to buy your next issue of the magazine. And what appeals to emotions even more and offers the possibility of going viral on the internet is videos. If you have a YouTube channel and you upload videos on a regular basis that are really well done, you can even attract customers beyond the border of the country you're in or the country you sell your magazine in. I've done a YouTube channel for a magazine, and new videos, really well done videos, are uploaded on quite a regular basis. And in less than 2 years, 500,000 clicks have been achieved. 500,000. These are all prospective readers of a magazine. Last but not least, to something that many publishers are quite worried about or are nervous about: the app. Yes or no? This is a very tricky decision, and only you as a publisher can make this decision, because only you as a publisher really know your target group. The magazine that I mentioned earlier also did an app, and the funny thing about that was the app had such a positive impact on the publisher's image that the print advertisements have gone up massively, to be very honest. And that was a big surprise for me. I didn't expect that, but of course the client was very happy about that. In case you decide to not have an app, don't worry, there are alternatives already. There are new technologies such as touch code or the Alive technology that works very similar to the QR code, for example. Those new technologies allow you to scan a picture or a page in a paper magazine with your smartphone, and multimedia content opens up, or you can automatically redeem a voucher code in an online shop with your smartphone, things like that. So there already are alternatives towards the app for paper magazines. It just still takes some time to get through to every publisher and to every printing company. But in case you decide to go with that and you want to offer that in your price list, you can be sure that you get a lot of profit from that, because you will be one of the first ones to use these new technologies. If you as a publisher want to profit from my desktop publishing services, or you need a new editorial design, simply send me an email to office@hcg-corporate-designs.com. If you like this video, it would be very nice to share it or comment on it. Thanks very much for watching, and see you very soon.